Hi everyone, welcome back. I am so sorry for the abrupt stop to our live video. My phone ran out of storage space and it just completely stopped the live stream. So I had to plug my phone into my laptop and sort out storage space. And I've cleared up some storage space, but for the life of me, I cannot figure out what is taking up the rest of my storage. So yeah, I've freed up enough so there shouldn't be any more issues with this live stream, and hopefully I can get you to the end with Panda, and that will all be done. And whilst I was copying things from my phone to my laptop, I was finishing up some of the rest of the trees and the snow that I could. So all that's left for this live stream is to finish the panda bear with, the red panda with his beautiful fur, and then any snow on him. So that's going to be the focus of this video, and then we will have a complete page. But firstly, before I get started into picking up where I left off, I just want to say a big thank you to all of you for your patience with me and your understanding whilst I've had all these technical difficulties. I really do appreciate it, and it means a lot. And yeah, thank you for all the comments and the support. So without any further delay, I'm going to hop back into the fur. As a recap, what we are using is Polychromos, and I laid down first on the not the black sections of the tail, but the lighter sections. I laid down burnt ochre and terracotta Polychromos pencils, and then I placed a dark indigo into the dark sections of the tail, going from the middle out on either side. And now I am coming in with my burnt sienna, and I'm allowing the burnt sienna to go into the dark rings on the tail. And I'm trying to not go straight, but to go in a varied approach. And I don't mind if I start in the dark section of the tail and then come out. And I'm trying to angle out my fur because, as I mentioned in the second part of the series, when we angle our fur, we get a bit more of a realistic texture. Fur doesn't all go in one direction. It's not a whole lot of parallel lines. It's often lines intersecting each other. And if you by any chance have any pets and you take them out and you study their fur, you'll see that their fur goes in various directions. But because of the way it lies on each other, it does have also that linear look to it. The other thing I've just done while I was copying everything off my phone, I sharpened all my pencils. And with fur, you don't want to start off with a hard pressure. You want to do a light pressure and build up, or medium pressure and build up. But you still want to have that sharp point, because that helps to create those individual strands of fur. Now, it's we don't need to create every single strand of hair. What we are wanting to do is to put enough variety of highlights and shadows to get our minds to see the individual hair. So by going into my darker areas and pressing a bit harder and allowing my pencil to flick lighter, that's allowing for me to create those beautiful individual strands without causing like hard lines. We don't want hard lines. And if you also look at Kerby Rosanes' fur, the direction that he's drawn the hair, it also shows us that we need to intersect this a little bit. right? And it's the same thing all the way up the tail. And the fur on a red panda is more of a medium length than it is long or short. So you want to vary your strokes to be more of a medium. So you don't want to go really small, but you don't want to go really long. And just do something in between. And with the fur, you will have to sharpen your pencil quite regularly, just so that you can keep a sharp point and keep those fur strokes well defined. And the same way that you would do hair is how you would do fur. And you're just following the shape of the body. Hi Leslie, my phone came out of storage. I lost storage space and it just decided to switch everything off. I couldn't even go and try and quickly delete stuff. It literally almost locked me out of my phone. So I had to plug it into the laptop and copy things off and try free up space, which always takes time. It's never this quick thing. So that's what happened. I felt so bad when I realized. Okay, I'm coming in with a bit of India red. Now I don't have to use a whole lot of this. I just kind of want it there to help create that reddish tone. And I don't have like a lot of games on my phone. I've got a couple of games for the kids. So if I have about, I don't know, 3 games, 3 or 4, it's a lot. And then when they lose interest, I take it off. So I still can't for the life of me figure out what's using so much storage space. Right, and we can have some of this red inside the dark rings because if you look carefully, and on a red panda, especially if you've got a photo where the sunlight is catching on the fur, you will see like reddish tinges in it as well. So we can have this red in here, and all that it will do with the blue is just turn it into a bit of a purple, which is fine. Yeah, that's true. I should actually have a look and see. Yeah, you're probably right. It's probably an app that's using up my storage. I mean, when I edit videos on my phone, I try and delete them once they're uploaded onto the channel so that I keep storage space. And I have got an SD card, and if I create a new album, photo album on my phone, I try and create it on the SD card just to help with storage. So it must be an app or some sorts. Anyway, not much I can do about it, so least it's resolved for now, and then I can get back on and we can finish this beautiful page. I probably won't use the India red too much more, and I'll build up more of the oranges and the browns, because I want this as more of an undertone than an actual feature. Okay, so now I'm going to use my Walnut Brown, and I'm going to come into these black bands here, and again going in and out so that it kind of blends them in. And then if I need to, I'll probably add a bit more of the blue just to deepen this up. I think this is a similar technique you would use for tigers. I remember watching Color My World. I think she had a video on tiger fur. I don't remember what the video was called, and I saw her layering up tiger fur. I was really amazed by how she did it. Hello Lawrence, how are you? I hope you had a good day at work. We're all well, thank you. Yes, Leslie, she hasn't been on a while. Her husband passed away, I think it was last year, and I think she's just needed time to come to grips with it and just work out where she is, where she's going with her channel. I don't know if she has another channel. I can't really remember. And she does have those kind of like master classes. I don't know if they're still available. or how it works. Okay, so you do want a few dark strands in and amongst the fur here. I really hope my phone doesn't bomb out again. If it does, I really apologize. I'll apologize in advance. I'm really hoping that it works out okay. Yeah, it's really sad that she lost her husband. I'm sure she'll be back when she's ready. At least I hope so. I really learned a lot from watching her videos. Alright, so there we're getting a nice kind of going on here. You can bring in some dark sepia as well, and that will also just help darken up these bits here. Oh, thank you, Lawrence. I appreciate that. Having Inktense as a base actually really helps with the fur. I find it shows up the layers a lot better. Because doing fur from scratch and going all the way from layering a base coat to the actual hair strokes really takes a long time. I've seen people use soft pastels for fur. It's absolutely phenomenal what people can do with pastel pencils and fur. I mean, how they make these portraits of animals and look like photographs is beyond me. Okay, so now I'm going to go down all my Polychromos pencils, and I'm going to bring in more of the lighter colors and just keep working on this. But first I'm going to add a bit more blue in here so that we keep deepening up our rings. and by varying my strokes it will also help keep that lifelikeness in the fur. Okay, so then I'm going to put over it my Walnut Brown because I want to carry on going down. You layer up with polys and then you go down again. So by the time we get to our lightest color, which is a yellow, no, it's a brown ochre, we'll have nice vibrant fur. But I don't need to necessarily put too much in the orange rings. Because we do want to still make sure that it stays relatively light. We don't want to lose the light orange. Okay, so now I'm going to come down to my burnt sienna, and this is going to kind of go everywhere. Now I've heard of people using a craft blade to remove kind of like wax bloom off their fur, and to help create those like white highlights. And to be honest with you, I'm a bit too nervous to take a craft knife and try and gently lift pigment off a portrait or even off fur. I'd be too worried I'd cut a hole in it. Can you imagine? You work so hard in a picture and then you slit your page. Alright, so now I'm going to ignore my India red because I've got quite a lot of red, and I'm going to come down to my terracotta. And I'm going to focus this in more the red areas than in the black areas. And I'm still trying to vary the direction of my fur. And then I get out my burnt ochre, and I'm just going to do the same thing. I don't need an awful lot of it because it's really quite dark and orangey, and I do need some lighter colors in here. And then finally, for a nice highlight, I'm going to use my brown ochre. You could probably get away with even a slightly lighter color than the brown ochre. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in my walnut brown over into my dark rings here. And I'm not going to worry so much about blending it out. I'm going to try and stick more into this middle section. And make sure I'm flicking so that I'm keeping everything blended and not creating hard lines. And that's how you can create almost like a black color using indigo or dark indigo and a walnut brown. And then some sepia. Alright, so that's more or less how I would do the panda's tail. And if I tilt it up, you get less of a glare, so it looks, I think it looks alright. So I'm going to bring you in now to more the back of the panda. Actually, no, I'm going to show you how to finish his face. Because how we do the back is going to be very similar to how we've done the tail and the face. So if I show you how to do the white spots on his face, and we can do his nose. So we're going to look more now at browns and greys. So we're going to use a warm grey 2 and a warm grey 5 and maybe a bit of walnut brown. So again, I'm going to make sure my pencils are nice and sharp. Yes, it is late, Leslie. I'll probably end up doing the back of the panda at a late, either on a different video or off camera. It depends how comfortable everyone is with fur. I mean, if you're not comfortable with fur and you'd rather just watch it and color along with me, then I'm happy to do it as a as another video. But if you're comfortable with what I've already shown you, then, so this is the warm grey 2, then I can do it off camera. So again, I'm using the greys and I'm following the line art. Now I'll probably use a Prismacolor white in this one, because I like how the Prismacolor white blends. And then we can also use some white gel pen. You'll see that white is quite easy to do. It doesn't take a long time. So the key with white fur is you want to use your greys to build it up. Similar ideas as to doing snow. Alright, so now I'm going to bring some Walnut Brown. And I'm using it quite sparingly. Okay, and then you want to take your warm grey 5 and place in your dark strokes. Oh, cool. 6 p.m. in Canada and 5 in Texas. Those are good hours. Unless you have to prep for dinner. Alright, so now I'm using Prismacolor Espresso here in the ear. And I'm going to use it here along the nose. Prismacolor Black. You can just use polys for this as well if you would prefer. A little bit of that warm grey too. Haha, that's cool. Taco Tuesday and a Monday. That's really cool. I love tacos. I've made them a couple of times at home. But I go and I buy like the taco kits. So you've got the shells, and then I get the sauce for the mince. I don't know if that's like genuine tacos. That's what we get here. I think what I love of Mexican food is the chilies. It's really, really such good flavor as well. All right, so then a little bit more of that warm grey 5. Oh, okay, that's cool. Alright, so now I'm using Prismacolor, and I'm just going to try and blend this out so it's a bit more white. The nice thing with the polys is they will stay where you put them, even if you put a Prismacolor over. So this is the Espresso. I'm just trying to kind of blend out the Espresso with the Walnut Brown. And then the Warm Grey 5. Then for his eyes, I'm going to use the brown ochre. So that will be my lightest color. Then the Sienna brown. And I'm kind of try follow those black lines that Kerby Rosanes put in here. The Sepia, and then I'll take the ginger root. Try use that as a bit of a like a blending pencil and a highlight. The black pencil, black Polychromos, or even a black Prisma, just to go around these black areas here. Then some Walnut Brown polys. Some Naples Yellow. I'm just trying to brighten up the eye. So this is Polychromos Naples Yellow. And some raw umber. So what I'm trying to do is create a brown eye, but also I don't want to lose the eye either. I think that's probably the most I can do. And then you take your white gel pen and then you can take your white gel pen and you can also just put in some white streaks. And it will just break up any of the grey, which which is a bit too much. If you don't like it, just you can use your finger to wipe it out the way. And again, with even the gel pen, you want to just vary the direction of your hair. Right, so that's sort of how I would do the white tufts of hair. See you later, Leslie. Thanks so much for joining and popping back on. I really do appreciate it. Hope you have the good rest of your evening and all. Right. So now if I bring you here, we can work on the back of the panda and then it will pretty much be done. So again, what you're going to do is bring in your burnt ochre and you're going to lay it over the entire back of the panda. And you're going to go in the direction of the fur. So it's going to go out like this. and it's going to go up here. So just follow the line art. It's really what you're looking for. And again, you're not going straight lines across and straight lines up and down. You want to have curves to them as well. All right, and be mindful that this top section here is going to get quite a lot more light than down at the bottom or the base of the panda. So again, it's going in those medium strokes. And you have to really vary it. So paying close attention to how the artist has created the line art is going to help you to know which direction your fur needs to actually go. And then you just follow along with that. Going along in this direction. And with the fur, because we've already put an Inktense base, we don't really need to worry about block coloring. We want to leave some bits where it doesn't have this color, so that we've got space to have highlights peeking out or create shadows. Now what you can always do is split up into sections and just do small sections at a time, and that will also help you with your fur. So don't feel like you have to do the whole animal or the whole section in one go. You can split it up and work one section at a time, and just approach it the same the next day or the next time you color, and then you'll have your consistency. So your biggest challenge on this part of the panda is going to be the direction of the fur, because it changes so much. Okay, so now I'm going to... Hello, Katrina, how are you? Thanks for joining, it's lovely to have you. How has your week been? Right, so now I'm coming in with terracotta, and I'm going to do the same thing because I'm using polys, and with polys I want to layer up lightest to darkest. So I've started working on one of the coloring challenge checklist items. So I decided I wasn't going to start with number 1. I was going to start with, I think it's number 14. So I've pulled out a page that is for the fairy tale section of that checklist challenge. And that's what I'm working on now, amidst all the other whips and videos that I'm trying to do. And in the middle of it all, I didn't get round to coloring a Valentine's page. So I think I'll be missing a Valentine's themed picture this year. But I am almost done filming to color along in Christine Karen's Fairy and Fantasy 2. So I'm hoping to finalize that soon and get that up, and that will cover like the fairy section of February, because there's an event going on at the moment, and it's all about coloring fairies in February. And I'm not sure if they'll have a similar event in March, but I know in May they will have they'll have Mermay, which is mermaids. So have you had a good coloring month? Are you pleased with how your productivity in coloring? Have you tried anything new? Okay, so now I'm going to bring in some burnt sienna, and I'm just going to pull you up a bit. I want to focus it a lot more here on the base. Okay, so this is pretty much just how it goes. If I don't know actually how to edit a live video and actually speed up the sort of sections and put it to music. So unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, you're watching me do fur in real time, so it is quite slow. But what I'm trying to do with the Sienna Brown is just lay up those darker colors in the fur, and that's going to help give it body and texture. And as I layer it up, it's going to end up looking a lot more lifelike. Where there's more line art, that's where you're going to find it will be slightly darker, and then where the line art is a little bit more thinned, it's going to be a lot of more lighter. Again, if you're not ready to do this sort of fur, you can just do your gradients, and you would have a lighter gradient up here to a darker gradient down here at the tail. So you can also do that if you're not yet ready for fur. I might actually zoom you out a little bit so that you can get more of a view of what I'm doing, and I go out of the frame less. Okay, so now I want to bring in some of that India red, and I'm going to try and focus that not everywhere but more in the shadowy areas here. And I find I only really need to use the India red one layer, and it's enough. There we go. If I zoom you out a little bit more, at least you can see the whole thing. Okay, so then I'm going to take my Walnut Brown and I'm going to build up the more shadowy areas. And again, you want to keep your pencils really sharp. So fur does require sharp pencils and a lot of sharpening. So I'm going to try and go over the line art with my walnut brown, or at least near it, and use that to help me create more of that fur texture, those shadows in the fur. And then you also want to rotate your pencil every now and then, just to help you keep a sharp point. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like it. Okay, so as you can see, we're slowly getting there. I'm going to bring in some dark sepia. And I don't have to use a whole lot of this. It's just for deeper shadows, so it'll be more down here at the back. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to bring it down. We're going to go from darkest to lightest now. So again, your walnut brown. So again, if you want to know how I did the snow and the trees, you can go check out part 2. Just be forewarned that part 2 comes to an abrupt end because I ran out of storage space on my phone. Hence why we've got a part 3 running at the moment. But in part 2 I show you how I do the snow and the rest of the trees. And then after I finish this fur, the rest of the snow I will do off camera because it's pretty much the same thing that I've already shown. Alright, so now we go back down to the burnt sienna, which I'm going to sharpen again. And again, I'm going to just flick it around. So if you want to make it darker, you just use more of the darker shades. If you want to make it lighter, you focus on more of the lighter shades in the color combo I'm using for the fur. Alright, so now I'm going to come down to my terracotta, and again I'm going to make sure it's sharp, because the more layers you put in, the more you're going to need a sharp pencil to have those individual lines coming through. So let's go. And then I'm going to come down to my burnt ochre, which is my second lightest color. My very lightest color is a brown ochre. And as you can see, it's just really repeating the same thing. I'm just going down the colors. Okay, and then I'm going to use the brown ochre, and I'm going to bring some lighter shades in here now. Alright, so now I'm going to go back up because I don't feel that this is enough, so I'm going to just go back up and bring in the burnt ochre, and this is how I'm just going to layer and work with this fur. And where needed, just sharpen my pencil. if you need to watch this on a replay and just speed up this section of the video, please feel free to do so. You can always watch it at double time or slow it down if it's too fast, whatever works for you. Unfortunately, with real time, you can't really speed it up, but in the replays you can. The nice thing about having a real-time color along is that you get a sense of how long it takes different people to color in certain things. So for instance, this section of fur would have taken me close to 2 hours by the time I'm done. So it gives you an idea of actually how long it takes. And coloring skin, for instance, could take again 2 hours. The snow probably took me about an hour to do. So it does help you understand how long things can take. And then you can also see, does taking a longer time produce a better result compared to doing this similar picture at a faster speed. Alright, so now I'm going to bring in my terracotta. And again, just building up these layers. Because I'm not really happy with it. So you just work with your picture until you are happy with it. And then when you think it's done, just add another layer or two. Okay, so then now we go up to the burnt sienna. Okay, so now back up to the Walnut Brown. And again, I don't want too much on the top, so I've got to be careful that I don't make the fur dark where it should be light. So this one is a bit tricky. And then I want some sepia to come right under here. Alright, so now I'm just going to bring in a bit more of that terracotta, just to go over the walnut brown and the dark sepia. I think I'm going to leave it here for today, as I'm not 100% sure how much more I can actually work with this. So at least from what I can see, the way the fur is done on the side and the face is very similar. So at least we have a continuity there. But I'm not 100% sure that this fur is finished. So I'm going to leave it for today and have a look at it at another stage. And then see where I stand with it, because it might be that it actually needs a bit more. If I tilt it away from the light, it might need a bit more work, but it also might not need some more work. So I think if I just have some fresh eyes on it, it will look maybe a bit better than what my brain is seeing today. So I really like what I'm seeing. I think it looks really sweet. I think this picture is fabulous. I'll also finish off the snow off camera, and yeah, it's just I need to decide about the fur. I'm not sure if I'm happy with it yet. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for your understanding about the whole technology issues. And I look forward to seeing you guys again next Monday for another live stream video. I'm going to think of some other options for us to color in, and I'll put it up in the community posts, and you guys can let me know what you're interested in coloring next. So until Monday, thank you so much everyone for joining me, and I will see you soon in other videos. Until next time everyone, take care.